Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to talk about Season 4, Episode 14 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled Reunion. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace.
And explore Gotham.
That's right, Dragon. Reunion in many senses of the word. We got Bruce Wayne reuniting with Alfred. We've got a brief reunion between Ivy and Selina. We've got Bullock and Gordon reuniting. We've even got another reunion between the Riddler and Oswald. So, if anything, this title is not like the season 1 days of like, hey guys, we're gonna title the episode Harvey Dent, but not have Harvey Dent in it. It's all. Isn't that going to be funny?
I dread when I gotta tell you, I'm super curious if they call an episode Two Face, what they're gonna do, given that given the Harvey Dent's been out of it for so long now.
Wait. We have an episode named Two-Face?
No, we don't. I'm just saying, imagine if they did. Like, how would they oust him even more if he's not even there?
Oh, God.
That poor actor.
You had my hopes up, Dragon. I thought that we actually, oh, I haven't checked Wiki in a couple weeks. I wonder if we actually do have.
Last I checked, his show got re-upped, so I guess he's busy with another show. He's not even consulted anymore.
Well, I don't blame him, frankly. I mean, could you imagine him just like, hey guys, I've got work that I could be taking, but Harvey Dent's a dream role of mine, so can you please give me something to do, guys? Hello? Anyone? All right, I'll just be back here if you need me.
Well, they could always do a thing where they recast the actor through some convoluted means.
Oh, gee, yeah, Dragon, hold on. Recasting an actor through convoluted means?
It could work.
This is Gotham, Dragon. Gotham has way more respect than that. Come on now.
All right. Oh, anyway. Silly me. What was I thinking?
Okay, so let's dive right into the episode. It opens with Bruce opening a chest. And what's in the chest, Dragon?
It's the proto Batman suit. It's the prototype bulletproof suit. Very much like we see with the Nomex survival suit Batman Begins. The one that Bruce has been basically vigilante Bruce, not the ski mask vigilante, which is a dear favorite of mine and many people.
So he holds up the mask, and it looks like he's about to put it on. It looks like he's about to do something really noble. But instead, Dragon, I equate this to a Rian Johnson moment.
He throws it in the fire.
He throws it in the fire much in the same way that Luke Skywalker chucks that lightsaber over the side of the cliff.
Now, two things. And you're right, I love the Johnson pull on that. But two things. When the mask is thrown into the fire, I like how, I call this on a rewatch, you kind of see the fire kind of engulf it in the middle, so it looks kind of like it has bat ears on the side for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's probably accidental. It's kind of cool looking. And secondly, I like how we're kind of doing we're kind of doing a smart thing in storytelling where we've set everyone up, we think we know where it's going to go, and we kind of take a right turn. Not a matchstick moment, no pun intended with the fire, but it's something kind of akin to kind of like setting up your audience for a decision. Okay, so last episode we had a really great thing where Bruce saw his future, and you assume, okay, seeing his future is going to kind of run towards the Batman of it all. And in this case, and what we really spent a lot of time with in this episode in a really cool way with Bruce's story. I love Bruce's story in this episode. He's trying to run away from becoming Batman. He's like, no, I saw my darkness, and that's scary because, again, as we saw in the last episode, awesomely in that hallucinogenic dream sequence. When he saw, again, he didn't really take in like kind of the majesty. He didn't really see the bat as like an omen. He saw it as like, oh my god, I'm so terrified of my inner darkness. It's coming at me because it's mad at me for killing Ra's al Ghul. I don't want to be this guy. which kind of makes it's an inspired choice. I got to tell you, again, I'm loving the idea of Batman being mad at the Batman side of Bruce being mad at him for killing somebody and kind of showing that visually in his subconscious. And now we're kind of dealing with, if you were on a path of kind of building on that, like, it would be a bump in the road, most definitely. So I'm high points on the rewatch for that choice.
And of course, Dragon, coming off of the high that is watching Mask of the Phantasm for the first time, Bruce's early struggles with being Batman, definitely something that's on my mind with the character as of late.
Now Tiki's finally starting to understand where I've been coming from. All my love fest about, ski mask vigilante Bruce, and
oh yeah.
And of course, last episode with the Caped Crusader thing, you saw that moment in the movie, right? You saw that image of like kind of like the no bad ears version of the.
Oh, sure, sure.
So that is exactly what I was talking about. And by the way, I did some research. I'll bring this up when we do the thing real quick, just because it's on Gotham. I did some research and I tried to make sure of this, and from what I could find, as hard as I look for it, ski mask vigilante Bruce, like that kind of that pairing, that terminology. Basically, a Batman who doesn't have a bat mask, doesn't have a gimmick, but wears the ski mask. In theory, from what I can see, first appeared in Mask of the Phantasm. Year one, he didn't have a ski mask; he had a ski cap, and we always referred to that as ski mask because it was in reference to year one. But you know, we don't get Batman Begins, like the ski mask in Batman Begins, with that Mask of the Phantasm. Little fun fact.
Okay, so Ivy walks into a bar and sees a man eating a pickle. No, folks, that's not it.
Sounds so much like a setup.
I know.
So she walks into not just any bar. She walks into Bullock's bar, and Bullock's out sick. Claims the bartender, and again, still not a joke, folks. Just go with the songs. Basically, Ivy, she's looking for Bullock, and you have like some bar patrons and the tender at the bar, and basically she cracks out the Lazarus plant that she basically infused her blood with the Lazarus water, and the creation is a new, very deadly, instantaneous kind of, as Tiki phrase, and I agree with him, chest burster of a plant, basically instant beautiful death, and gives you like the flower that killed you, basically pops up all over your body, popping through your body. Very eerie, very horrifying. And she did all this to send a message: kill the meat, grow true life. That's essentially what the tableau of her crimes are here. It's like, hey, I'm gonna, basically, and like, the Mother Earth is kind of gonna reign at the end of the day. It's kind of like, the plant life is valued more than the human life.
Okay, so speaking of reunions, Sophia and Lee are having a nice family reunion, Dragon. It's sister time. Yay.
Yeah, because remember that little picnic they had? Oh, wait, no, he didn't have a picnic because Mario got his brain splatter all over the place. No, he just got shot through the...
came in and she's like, oh, hey, Sophia. Hey, Leslie. Let's go shopping.
It'd be hilarious if she just... if Lecter was the one like just stab him through the chest. Oh, hi, girls. Let's go on the field trip.
Oh, God. We'll go bug a lecture. Let's go bug a lecturer at work. She'll get really mad. It'll be funny.
Right.
All right.
Okay, anyways, in all seriousness, so Sophia and Lee, they were, Sophia was she may or may not have been at the wedding, most likely she was not at the wedding. The point is, they're kind of through family, they're connected, because she was married to Mario for a time, so, she has kind of some Falcone clout that Leslie Tompkins. So, having a little reminisce over Mario Falcone. Oh, the very memorable Mario Falcone. She loves me.
She loves me.
That guy.
She loves me.
Who had a little role in the Blacklist, by the way, for a while. He was good on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so they have a quote unquote sister to sis to sis sit down. Sister to sister in crime and law. We'll sit down there.
Oh, how's it going, sis? By the way, I'm going to demand, something impossible from you. I'm going to demand, I'm basically going to put this big tax on the Narrows, which has every family eating out of the palm of their hand. So, yeah, you're pretty much screwed. Girl time.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is something that's never happened in the Narrows because, an outside boss has never, claimed dominion over the Narrows like Sophia, because Sophia is not a true native of Gotham. That's what she's kind of saying. That's like the belief system of the Narrows in any Gotham kind of section of Gotham is, hey, you got to be from Gotham to run Gotham. So Lee, I love this. I love that Lee is willing to, she'll kiss the ring, as she puts it, but for peace, for the sake of peace, like not rolling any heads. And again, she knows Sophia's capable, but again, I love that Lee's making a very valid point here. The tax is it's very unreasonable. And your question, I thought we were family. Yeah, but I never said a happy family. So this is all a power move. And what I like that we're not saying it, but I like that you can feel it, is that we can see the issue with Sophia Falcone's leadership is that while she is very effective and she gets results and she's very vicious and very ruthless, the difference is Falcone would never make this move.
Family, but she doesn't understand family.
Exactly, and Falcone would, Carmine would never make a move like this, because again, it's hurting the city. It's like it doesn't make a lot of. It's purely a power move. Where again, if you're a Falcon, you should just instantly maintain that respectability. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to kill people for a message. In this case, you don't have to tax the poor. It's kind of overkill. Yeah. So beyond that, after that scene, we have here's a nice scene. We have Bruce meeting Alfred at the diner again. It's almost like a Cheers spinoff here. It's like, hey, here's Alfred. He's kind of moved out from Wayne Manor, and now he's going to the diner. He's meeting the guys. Remember when he beat up that one guy in the pilot episode? Oh, that was a laugh. Oh, but they befriended each other. Alfred was framed for murder. It was a whole barrel of laughs, a lot of craziness, a lot of out of characters. Anyway, in all seriousness, getting back to the point at hand. So Bruce meets Alfred at the diner. He called him, as we alluded to at the end of the last episode, he's calling Alfred out. And again, I love kind of the bait and switch of all this. Okay, you think Bruce is calling Alfred because like, hey, Alfred, I need you back in the saddle so we can become Batman, all that stuff.
And Alfred's essentially just like, piss off.
Yeah. And again, I love that, Bruce, I like that we reveal later on, but we kind of have it like if Alfred listened to him, he would have asked him for like I need guidance so I don't become Batman. Essentially, that's what he's there to ask Alfred for. I don't want to delve into my darkness, and I'm kind of tempted right now. Like, how do I need you to help me stay on the ready path like you did way back in season 1? And after asking him to come back, he claims that he's changed. He has like a little pittance of like a reason for being there. Oh, the Wayne Foundation dinner's tonight. You want to come to that? And Alfred, and again, you feel for Alfred, and I love that we know that Alfred does miss Bruce. He does, he does still have connection to the Waynes, but Bruce did hurt him really badly. Hurt his trust, hurt him very badly. And I always read it that Alfred is being the wise mentor in this scene, where even though yeah, he wants to come back, and the ultimate lesson is that Bruce has to go through this on his own. So he refuses to help Bruce, and then he kind of puts in perspective, hey, kid,
Saving Private Ryan, Dragon, he has to
earn it. And then I think the most crushing line is, Alfred, I'm asking you as a friend. I'm not your friend. I was your butler. It's a crushing line. So definite trust issues to work out there.
And then he doesn't even pay for the tea, and Howard Hamlin is just like, hey man, don't worry about it, I got you covered.
Oh my god, yes. I'm Tiki. I didn't think of what was going on because I was so swept up in the emotion, Alfred and Bruce on the rocks, but oh my god, you're so right. That's brilliant. Clever Tiki. Very, very clever. So moving on from that scene. So it's got some trust issues, got kind of and also this completes like the arc we've been doing from the very beginning of Alfred becoming the guard. He's becoming a guardian, where the beginning was like he's kind of grappling, okay, how do I become the help to becoming kind of the kid's mentor and then father figure. And again, we see a big hiccup in all this where he's feeling very betrayed and distant towards Bruce. Again, we'll see how that resolves itself by the end of the episode. So next scene, we have Enigma. It's so funny they kind of phrase it like this. We have Enigma and the Riddler having a little scene together, and this is a cool notion. They basically take
like such at wit's end in this scene. It's just or Enigma, I should say. Enigma is just. I love how Riddler is just like, those meds aren't working, right? And Enigma, he's just like, you know what? You haven't killed Lee yet, so it works for me.
They're bickering roommates in the same head. So funny.
Your side of the apartment.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, anyway. So also, this feels so Bates Motel, by the way. We've said that a couple times this season, but this whole Enigma Riddler thing, this episode in particular, feels so Bates Motel season 5, and it's funny. So, important plot thing, he gets a letter from his old pal Penguin, asking to be friends again. He's just kind of writing this off. But again, as he's reading this, I love that the Riddler is very eager about this letter, and we know why later on. This episode really holds up on the rewatch with the Riddler stuff, by the way. Okay, getting to the bar crime scene for the bar from earlier where Ivy killed a bunch of people. So let's see. Lucius discovers the Lazarus plant, basically the plant, and discovering, oh my god, this is probably linked to the Lazarus water and like mixed in, basically filling the odds and ends for that scene. Jim needs to find Bullock because he's realizing, oh my god, he went. And I love it's kind of, look, I get that's kind of a pull of like, hey, we remember events from the first season. But I like that we haven't forgotten those events because they matter, darn it.
All right, Dragon, this next cut is just hysterical. They arrive at Bullock's apartment.
Yes, because they need to find Bullock because the Ivy killed the Bullock shot Ivy's father in the pilot, so they have
And Bullock is passed out on the couch. And they're like, "We're too late."
No, you're not. Yeah, Jim knows Bullock so well. He just wakes up like a sleeping.
I just love though. Is it Lucius who says we're too late?
It might have been Alvarez. I don't know. I think it was
I think it could have been Alvarez. I think you're right.
I don't think it was Lucius because I think Lucius.
I just love the horror on Alvarez. You know, he's just like, "Oh my god! Oh no, he's dead. Poor Harvey." No,
he's not dead. Oh jeez. So he
just
wakes
like
Bullock.
how pathetic Donald Logue looks in that movie on the couch.
Someone's paying for that door. So the sleeping Bullock gag is it's really funny, and basically informs Bullock what's going on, and Bullock, and nice acting down look here, he realizes, oh man, the bartender, he filled in for me, he's dead. Oh my god, it's because I wasn't there. And I like that he mourns him in the company, just kind of him and his bar is in jeopardy because of him. We got some, basically Bullock now has a stake in things, because again, people are getting killed in his name, and he doesn't like that. Good old Bullock. So while they're kind of hashing it out, like, hey, I shot that guy to save your life, and you and I aren't friends right now. Ivy's eco-terrorist video plays.
Yes, yes.
Basically saying, she's giving Gotham back to the plant life, where underneath Gotham always exists the plant life. Therefore, the plant life is there first, and it's been mistreated by Gotham, so she's taking it back. She's taking it back. Giving Gotham to the plants, and she's starting in all of this, basically starting with all the people she's going to kill and turn into plants. Therefore, Gotham is all plant people. She's going to start with her enemies, people who have wronged her, and of course, top of the list, Bullock.
So Harvey, of course, now he knows that he's the target, and Jim insists that Harvey go back to work with him. But Harvey, he's not taking any crap, Dragon. He's not taking it. He's like, no, get this straight, Jim. I am not working for you now or never. I just have more contacts in the Narrows than all of you put together, and I'll find her. I'll find her, goddammit. Alone.
So Bullock's working alone once he finds Pence.
Once I find I just love that. I love how there's like just this big dramatic, like, tension-filled moment between Gordon and Bullock, and it's just undercut by a pants gag. You can't go wrong with a no pants gag, Dragon. You just can't.
It's a classy version of the no pants gag.
Yeah.
I respect that because again, he earned the drama of the scene. I mean,
I'll take a no pants gag over a poop my pants gag any day of the week.
I still think you're Tiki. I really think you're harping on that. I really do. I just want.
Look, I'm not just citing Deadpool. I'm just saying in general.
In general, sure. I'm just saying with the Deadpool. I gotta let that go.
Right.
Seriously, it's getting sad. Okay, so next scene. Lee's telling Enigma that she suspects Sophia Falcone's tax is a power play. Again, kind of stuff we talked about. Basically, she's really wondering, okay, there's got to be something more going on here. Why does she want a power play? What's going on here? We're kind of sister. Why is she gunning for me all of a sudden? And basically Enigma gives the motivations advice. We got to find, okay, basically Enigma has an idea of how to get information. We need information before we can really act. So in finding out the motivations, and I'm sure you love this, Tiki.
Oh yeah.
Take them through it.
Well, okay. Well, you take him to the what Enigma does, and then I'll take him through the what the rewards are.
Okay. So Enigma's given a rousing speech. I love how we frame this. It's like very kind of almost Patton-esque. Almost like you're the best. And he's given a rousing speech to the best of the Narrows spies, and the Narrows spies are
just a bunch of punks.
Or another word for them.
I'm sorry.
They're kids. They're young. They're on the young side, yeah. Tiki.
Yeah.
Was known as.
Okay. Now I know what you're trying to say. I'm sorry, Dragon. I botched your joke. They're the underdwellers.
Yeah, because I thought I was watching this episode. Oh my god, Tiki's gonna go nuts for this.
No, I'm sorry. What I thought you said I was gonna. What I thought I was gonna really enjoy. What I did really enjoy was the bogus gifts.
Okay, well, tell them what the bogus gifts are.
And they'll get a complete set of encyclopedias minus the T. Plus $20.
Now, you know what I love about this, by the way? I'm convinced they had to pull from this, Tiki. In the 60s Batman show, there was this great, ridiculous joke that it was still in the 60s, so it's unclear like how much of a joke or just how much of like a looking at it now is it a joke. But the Bat computer, the idea was the Bat computer didn't have all the information. Basically, the Bat computer had an like two sets of encyclopedias worth of information within it. So that was the joke, and I always thought that maybe this whole thing, like a set of encyclopedias missing the T, was a reference to, hey, remember in the '60s show of the Bat computer, it was basically full of encyclopedia knowledge. So it's like a set of it was like a set of encyclopedias, and we saw in the Batcave there was also a set of encyclopedias. So I think it's a deep. I hope that's a deep cuts joke. The whole dark '60s Batman vibe we've had throughout this whole series. So the $20 motivates everybody, so they're gonna spread out, and the underdwellers are gonna get results. Meanwhile, Jim finds Ivy's lair. Finds Ivy's lair in the rich people's houses. You know, the dead guys now. Has a little chat with Selena Kyle, kind of hanging around, and basically the conversation is, she doesn't have faith in Jim, but she just they kind of reach an understanding. Look, just if you find Ivy, I'll bring her in quietly. No one gets hurt, that sort of thing. Just you got to get her to me. Give me information. Give me a lead. Give me something.
Yeah, and I do like the moral dilemma that Selena's put into this episode. It's a good build for her character. It's, I think it's doing more for Selena than we've done in some time with her character. She's not just a sidekick to the sirens at this point.
Yeah. Right. So Bullock calls in with a lead, which leads to this barrel-filled back room of a dive bar. So apparently it's a dive bar with a lot of like wine and other sorts of forms of liquor in all of these various barrels. Excellent set piece, by the way. It's a nice change of pace from the warehouse a little, where instead of the warehouse, believe me, I don't want to undercut the warehouse. The warehouse is a staple of Batman. We need the warehouse. But if we're going to do the warehouse, at least we're kind of doing it with style, with all of these various, like a labyrinthian set of barrels. And that's kind of cool. Yeah. I think video game lovers would go gaga for all those barrels, particularly any Donkey Kong enthusiasts. But anyway, so point is we're in the back of a dive bar, and he's kind of like finding a correlation, basically because they knew the general location where Ivy was. So they think, okay, I nailed her. I found out where she is. She's in the other side of this dive bar is where she should be, or at least that'll lead us to her. So again, looks like Jim and Bullock back in the cell. Hooray! Everything's gonna go great. And then,
so we check in on Riddler and Enigma, and they're
no. Well, Ivy's there.
I'm sorry.
Ivy's there, and we reveal that Bullock, he's basically been enchanted by Ivy. Basically, she pulled the perfume on him, so now he's kind of a slave to her. And you drop your gun, Jim. So now Jim's in hot water. Yes. Next scene.
All right. My bad for jumping the gun. Anyways, yeah. So Riddler and Enigma are going back and forth with each other. Riddler is kind of like listing off the side effects of the meds that Enigma's taking, and Enigma's like, check.
Again, very Bates Motel-esque, just normally like giving Norman guff on the side. Yeah.
And then Riddler's going really all out, like, soon I'm gonna be out, and it's gonna be fun, and I'll kill Lee, and you can't stop me. There's nothing you can do about it.
It's just a matter of time before the fun begins. And I love this, and this is fascinating. And again, I'll try to make this the last of the Bates Motel jokes, but again, I think there really is an undercurrent of Bates Motel season 5, because I love that Riddler, that Enigma won't let Riddler kill. He's doing all he can. And again, you root for him. We're getting back to the kind of that season 1 Enigma where we root for the guy, where we care about the guy, and I love that he's trying to save Lee because he likes Lee, whether or not he loves her or not. The point is, he definitely has a crush or a soft spot for her, and he really does not want to see her get her, because she was there when he had nothing, and she kind of helped prop him up there, so they become friends. And he's trying all he can to save her, and in doing so, even if basically he realized even if it means killing himself, he will protect Lee from the Riddler. And again, the Riddler has to get rid of Lee, so again, Enigma won't be tethered. And again, the tragedy of the Riddler in Gotham is that the Riddler always kills his girlfriends or anyone he's fixated on.
Sure. Okay. So meanwhile, Bullock insists that Jim drop the gun. What a twist!
Yeah, and the Ivy expounds all confident.
Why, Dragon? Why?
I'm sorry, what? Why?
Why? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just making I just wanted to make an Ivy's awesome. That's why.
Yeah, that's
Hey
why.
Jim, the boys and I were talking, and we don't like the way we don't like what you were saying about Ivy.
Yeah, what's wrong with Ivy, Jim?
Anyways,
So Ivy ran the Bullock during his solo search attempt. He found her, a good on Bullock, but then he fell under his power. Basically, what she's doing here is quite clever. She's kind of taking care of two birds at one stone. And I love it. Again, it's very Purple Man-esque it's very Purple Man command here, where she basically says, "Okay, shoot him, then shoot yourself." You got it, ma'am. So so we have then. I really like this sequence. I really do. And again, with the whole thematically, I really dig this episode too. I really love how thematically, as you mentioned at the very top of it, the whole reunion of it all, everyone, basically all of our
the
main
title
story.
works really well. It's a very simple title, but I mean, it's not false advertising by any stretch.
Exactly. And again, beyond it not being false advertising, it also does thematically team with all sorts of different reunions, all sorts of various, what it means. Like we've seen like happy reunions, like the emotional ones. In this case, is a strained reunion where these guys they're in each other's lives a lot, but like various like degrees of like how long you've been separated from. Like, do you see them a lot, or like do you, or are you like reuniting to better yourselves, better a bond, or like coming from darkness and to make something better? In this case, this sign's been brewing on the surface. Like Bullock and Jim kind of separated themselves from each other for a while, and this is so great and clever of Jim. Well, first off, what kicks off this fight is hilarious, where you have Jim asking Bullock as he's like dead to rights with the gun in front of him. Hey, Bullock, just before you pull trigger, one question: Ivy's hair, is it more auburn or scarlet? And
Bullock is just taken aback, right? He's like, "Yeah, you know what, Jim? That's a good question."
yeah, it runs away. It's it's so funny. It just really is. It's a great little funny moment. But then yeah, but this whole sequence is like the cat and mouse. This cat and mouse in like a maze full of barrels. It's a great visual, and I love that it's kind of the Gotham way of it here. That we're gonna have people hash out these great, complex kind of emotional kind of stories and kind of these issues of trust through a sequence where they're trying to shoot each other in a warehouse. Because that's the Gotham way. And again, I love that it's like these two friends talking through their issues that we know have been boiling, and I love that for the most part, Jim is saying things. The premise of this scene is really clever. That Jim is wise enough that he's going to run throughout the scene. He's playing cat and mouse. He's at a disadvantage. Doesn't have a gun. What he has to do is he has to tick Bullock off into shooting him and dodge the bullets until he knows he's counting the shots until he's out of bullets, so he can take them out. And that's why Jim is chastising Bullock. But again, he's chastising him with the truth. And it's a question of like Jim is really harsh. He's cleverly harsh in his response with honesty to what Bullock's failings have been. Because Bullock's mad at Jim for stealing his job. Where in reality, again, Bullock, as Jim points out really harshly, but he's not wrong. Oh yeah, well you kind of fell into being captain after the first one died and the second one went crazy, and then you shot an officer. Well, it was by accident. I think Jim regrets saying that, but at the same time, he is mad at him for.
He's not wrong about the falling into the job thing, though. I mean, that is the harsh reality of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, like shooting Officer Patel, he's shooting the cop that he put in the wheelchair. I mean, again, that there's a gray area there, but the thing afterwards where he says, "Oh yeah, you didn't have the courage to face her and apologize in the bar because he left that." He left that to Jim, and I think that's coming from real frustration that Jim had because he was counting on Bullock to kind of. He was counting on his friend to really be at that bar there to kind of so he wouldn't spiral into his own depression on that one. And he calls Bullock a coward, and I think a part of Jim means that, and a part of Jim felt that, but he didn't want to say that. I like how we have some kind of implied complexities within this scene. That's nice.
Okay.
So Bullock uses up all his bullets, and Jim kind of does what kind of the Jim Gordon signature of any scene in Gotham as he punches him in the face and knocks him out.
Okay, so meanwhile with Bruce and Selena just instantly writing off Bruce. She's like, "Forget it, Bruce. I'm not in the mood. Go find Alfred." Oh wait, let me guess. You did, and he wanted nothing to do with you. Smart guy, that Alfred. Kind of a child abuser, but a smart guy.
Yeah, she has no time for this. She's dealing with Ivy, and I'm sure there's definitely a scene here. We're gonna see where this goes next episode. But she. Again, her advice, though, I like that he does take away like her simple advice. Well, here's an idea. Apologize to Alfred.
Go away.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, she actually would make an excellent Helga if they did a live action Hero. Seriously.
Oh God, she would.
All right. Okay, next scene. Okay, so Enigma gives Lee the news. That's okay. I'll say this: this episode I really like, but this scene right here is like the only. I think it's like a bump, and it's not something that kills the episode by any stretch. It's like a momentary lapse in the great Lee that we've been getting this season. Like there's one
Yeah,
line that
yeah.
bugs me, and again they kind of pass over, and again it sorts itself out. It's just like this. It's like the only like blemish on this episode for me. He said Enigma's giving Lee the news. Sophia slept with Jim. And Enigma has the hilarious line like, "Okay, so your ex husband, the killer of your ex husband, is sleeping with
With your
your."
dead husband's mafia sister.
It's hilarious. Anyway, so after that we have this. Basically, she gets the idea to use again. She's thinking like a neighborhood boss. I get that, but she's basically let me use the information I have on Jim of things to basically trade with Sophia so she can, kind of use the blackmail Gordon further because otherwise, why would she need to prove anything if she already had what she needed? And here's the one that really bugs me: is that she's not trying to hurt Jim, though he deserves it. And I'm saying, why? What do you mean he deserves it? It's just you being jealous of him sleeping with Sophia because again, you guys broke things off. But again, let's remember he could have killed you at any point in season 3, but
Yeah.
he didn't when you tried to take out half of Gotham.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But again, to be fair, it's like a momentary lapse, and going. I'll assure you that going forward, she's back after literally after this scene. She's kind of back. So it's at least it's my 2 cents.
Oh,
So Enigma in this moment's a nice bit of Corey Michael Smith. I think he's a really good actor. I kind of want to see him in other things. I love the subtlety he plays with this moment. He's like looking at Lee and he wants to tell her, but he can't. And he wants to tell her what's going on with the Riddler side of himself, but he can't. He says, I gotta go, Lee. All right.
okay. So next scene, Harvey and Gordon are kind of expositing Ivy's motivation, sort of listing off. You take us through it, Drake. It's just
Basically, Bullock.
I didn't have.
It's simple. Bullock comes to after being mind controlled, so he's back to normal now. It gives Jim the lead that she's targeting the rich. So basically, an event that held by rich people, which again they don't know exactly what it is. They go to the GCPD real quick, and they figure out it's I believe thanks to Alvarez. Just to give Alvarez some points here and there. I'm pretty sure it's Alvarez
Plus Ivy.
And Alvarez was the guy who pointed him to the TV. So maybe subconsciously it's like Alvarez is like, "Hey, look, Ivy's on TV, guys." Again, so basically they figure out. Good. So basically, they figure out that it's the Wayne fundraiser, and they need non-lethal rounds. Figuring, okay, people are going to be mind controlled, so we don't want to kill anyone. So again, guys, get some non-lethal rounds. And basically, now my theory, Tiki, is they needed that line just to cement what happens later on with Jim and Bruce. I think that's why we have that line. And that's my theory. So Bullock, it makes sense to. I mean, you don't want to kill people under mind control. So. Bullock doesn't trust himself in the field, so kind of Jim's going in alone, but he's supportive of Bullock here. And Bullock, he doesn't forgive him 100%, but he's kind of accepting his side of the blame, and he's realizing, okay, it's not a simple issue there.
Kind of has a slow arc of coming around throughout the episode.
Certainly. Okay, now we're at the big Wayne Foundation fundraiser. And my God, I love David Mazouz's acting in this scene. I really do. I think it's nice. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you've had the pleasure of meeting the young lad in person, but yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's kind of channeling a little bit of Mask of the Phantasm here with the young Bruce Wayne stuff. I think, I think our good friend Dylan Massett would be proud.
Give him a thumbs up, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good job, little bro.
Little me.
You're a lot more cool than my other little bro. My other little bro was a psychopath.
You are leaning so heavy on Bates Motel this episode. Okay. So we haven't done this since the Penguin was hallucinating. All right. Okay. Let's see. So Bruce Wayne, he's giving his speech. His speech is kind of detracted from it as Alfred walks in the background. I just love everything about this scene. I love that. I love we saw Thomas and Martha Wayne. I love that. I'm sorry. There's a lot to really analyze in this scene. That it's the Wayne fundraiser really kind of putting in perspective Bruce's parents looming over, and this is where I guess some
years, right. This is a three-year mark timeline wise.
It might be 4. It's like 3.5 or 4 years at this
Because
point.
he says it's the third annual fundraiser, so.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, they were there the year they were killed, probably. So then it's 3 years after that.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, like the year, like early in that year of the first
Right,
season.
right.
Anyway, so yeah, third. You're right. Third makes sense. Anyway, so Bruce. So Bruce gives a genuine, really classy apology to Alfred. He's basically reading a speech saying how the Wayne Foundation has helped people, in honor of his parents. And I really love here that he acknowledges Alfred as a father figure, which is beautiful, given like the harsh things he said, like Alfred, you're not my father, early in the season. And what's also nice is that I love that he didn't just start with like the after apology. I love that he built there by referencing that. And again, we're alluding to the whole kind of the arc of Batman here, where my parents wanted to help people. He's basically taking the fear that he had of that idea. And he doesn't know it yet, but what he's doing is he's simplifying it to, I have this desire to help people like my parents. I don't know how to channel it. That's kind of what he's saying here, and I really appreciated that. And then he's
That's
basically
pretty much what Alfred wanted to hear. Like basically what Alfred wanted was a solid motivation on Bruce to help himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is kind of like the nail in the coffin for like the Playboy Bruce Wayne being like Bruce in denial is now like a thing of the past. Like if he's doing it, there'll be like a cover story from this point forward. And like Alfred sees that, okay, this is the kid I raised, this is the kid I respected, and the kid I helped raise. This is the kid like that reminds me of Thomas Wayne. And I love the score in this scene. It's a real emotional score. And then afterwards, thanks to people, everyone's clapping for him, and he kind of walks off stage, and it's like a quiet little moment, despite just kind of coming off of the stage in front of everybody. Alfred and Bruce have this little moment of thank you. Oh my God, Sean Pertwee, the way he says thank you, and I've also had the pleasure of meeting Sean Pertwee. I'm not just saying that because I think all the stuff that Pertwee's been kind of alluding,
like a Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
We can't get over that, can we?
I don't think so. Especially when Ready Player One comes out, we're gonna be saying Dunkirk all over the place.
Oh my God.
Okay, but seriously though, again, I bring up the whole Sean Pertwee thing because he really teased like a great resolution between what Bruce and Alfred had in their past, like going through some dark stuff and kind of applying that to how Alfred's dealing with this season. I think this is like a big kind of payoff of all that stuff. So I think it all kind of paid off, and I think Sean Pertwee was really telling me the truth on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So this beautiful moment where Alfred thanks Bruce for what he said, and I love this. This is the mentors, like the tough love payoff. Is that even if Alfred, he's befriended Bruce and he sees that Bruce is genuine in his attempts, he has to give him the same piece of advice that it was then, because it's the only way he can move forward. Is that the truth is that I can't help you until you accept who you are. That Bruce has to accept who he is on his own. Bruce,
like darkness and anger, that's basically a front, but the heart is, the heart is Bruce's real strength, and he needs to find the heart dragon. He needs to be more like Matee from Captain Planet.
Right, but I'm serious, I really love that. Is a really good line that you need, and it's a line that really speaks true to Batman, where it's like you need to,
Master heart. Bruce, that show Captain Planet, they knew what they were talking about.
The heart, Osborn, the heart.
Oh God.
Yeah, but all seriousness, that line, the heart. I'm sorry.
I'm saying we're being ridiculous now.
We are, okay, but back on point though. Again, I really do like that line that applies to Batman there. Like the heart in the pain. Yeah, basically, that heart in the heart within your pain that makes you want to help other people. That's what Batman is. It's not about terrifying people. It's not about like giving into your darkness. It's not even about channeling your darkness. It's about looking. It's like basically finding something in the darkness and bringing that out into the light. That's kind of what Batman is. And I think again, it's a really lovely sentiment and well delivered by Pertwee. And I like that Bruce doesn't initially get that, and he's just saying, I don't even know why. Basically, he's kind of like, I'm not getting straight answers here. I don't know how to process this because again, he's still kind of overwhelmed by all that darkness. He's not quite get it, but the logic, it's like it's on the tip of his tongue though.
And meanwhile, speaking of the darkness, Ivy takes the stand, and one thing I do like about Ivy's arc here, Dragon, I'm a little mixed on it overall, but I do like how she's built up this really big reputation in the town, and everyone knows her, and they panic when they see her. It's like, oh no, that's the big killer that everyone's talking about. I do like that sense of public panic that we see.
I'm gonna read into this here, but I'm gonna try to sound, I'm gonna pathetically try to sound like Scott Snyder here.
Oh God, okay.
If you look at just the name Poison Ivy, what kind of Poison Ivy, even when we had this the episode earlier on, we established that, okay, what's growing in the corpses of the victim? It was poison ivy, hence the name. You look at that, and poison ivy is something that can, it's spread and be contagious and be, kind of, be poisonous and cause a sense of dread. And that's kind of what she's done to the populace of Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Be kind of parroting kind of Scott Snyder there. Okay, so let's see. Oh yes, the Riddler is trying to say. Okay, so we cut from basically obvious crash the fundraiser. Meanwhile, we cut to the Riddler, who is trying to, again, specifically the Riddler, who's basically saying the big promo line. This is crazy.
So Nigma is about to hang himself. He's preparing the noose on the staircase. All right, fine. You know what? You win. You beat me. Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah, he's trying to save his skin, and I like that we're kind of having a logical argument within a crazy, with the crazy guy's head here, where it's like.
What if I told you that there's a way that nobody gets hurt? There's a way to save Lee without killing yourself.
And again, I love on the rewatch thing. I love that the Riddler is conning him in this scene, and I love how that pays off here because he had to know this was a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Meanwhile, so we're gonna see where that pays off. Ivy, meanwhile, she's telling the room about the flowers. Oh yeah, I love that. I love that she got the flowers in the room, by the way. I love that it kind of makes sense she'd be able to kind of spike the plants within the fundraiser at all the tables, and all the plants are Lazarus plants. So, like, everyone's doomed in this room if she, basically utilizes these plants, and they're all kind of helpless. So, Jim tells, this is a great bit, Tim. So I'm happening upon a lot of these great bits, too. I mean, I rewatched the episode, it's like kind of hitting me like when these moments are, and I get to kind of sort of, so two things I want to know here. So, one, I think the best element on the rewatch that really struck me is that Jim tells Bruce, like, Bruce, he left after his kind of let down by Alfred there, like, oh man, that didn't help at all. And he's walking out of the place, and Jim approaches him like, Bruce, did you see Ivy? Is she in there? No, I didn't see her when I was in there. So Jim had a scene with Bruce where he realizes, okay, Bruce, he tells Bruce to get out of there. So again, Bruce was leaving the place. So Jim thinks that Bruce has left, which is setting up like, okay, basically, it's set up that, okay, Bruce Wayne isn't there, and Bruce Wayne couldn't possibly be the vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
That was clever. And this scene of Ivy just kind of in the room, basically killing people, like, scratching people, or, killing people with the plants. She's killing people with the Lazarus plant one by one. It's very akin to a Scott Snyder villain we had. He's a plant guy. He's a Bloom, just the guy, Mr. Bloom. That's this bad guy who's like a plant-themed guy who killed people one by one in a room full of the rich and the elite of Gotham. So it kind of brought to mind that a little bit. Anyway, take us through some of this, if you'd like.
Okay, let's see. So a goon knocks out Alfred, and then sorry, my notes.
Before Alfred takes that Ivy, I love that Alfred was charging to take it. He was going to punch it again. I punch women and children. And
right.
No, but she deserved it. So done the right thing in that case. So the GCPD enter.
Yeah, the GCPD enter. They yell guns on the ground. And then, Ivy goes all out. She's like, kill everyone. And then a big firefight ensues. Gordon's kind of strategically taking cover. Gordon goes after Ivy. Meanwhile, Bruce is surveying the damage, and he puts on the mask, Dragon. He puts on the mask. This is it. This is the big moment.
You're right. Now, this is cool, Tiki. So,
this is a moment. Seriously, this is the first masked Bruce Wayne. Like, this is proto-Batman right here. This is what we've been building up.
Oh, yeah. And Tiki, what I love about this, I love two things about this. One, but in the context of Gotham, I love that we reference the scene. I mean, everything about the scene. Alfred in peril. We're in a very simple, kind of in a similar room, like crowded, a lot of rich people. Jim is kind of come in. He's in the room, and Bruce Wayne waiting in the wings behind the curtain. Before he makes that decision, it directly references in season 2 with Jerome, when Jerome took control of the room and he was holding Alfred hostage. It's referenced in the same exact scene. Only now it's all on Bruce. I love we're paying this stuff off, man.
Oh, sure.
And then I love this again. The thing to note is that this shows you that Bruce Wayne, even without the Wayne Enterprise money, he's still, even without the prototype bulletproof suit, at his core, he's Batman, because he basically, there's a knocked out henchman from from all the chaos. He's either dead or he's knocked out, whatever. And I assume he's knocked out. He sees the guy's wearing a ski mask, he has a bulletproof vest, and he has a hood on. So that's where it comes from. That the lights, basically the light bulb, and basically it's Bruce Wayne's big, like his big moment. So When we cut back from that, the lights go dark, and Proto Batman springs into action. He's taking guys out. He takes one guy out. It's kind of the whole save one person thing of Justice League. He saves Alfred. Alfred. He's saving Alfred for a moment there, and Alfred kind of sees him, and he sees in the kid's eyes. He sees that this is who you are, and telling him, you got to save everybody. You got to save people. Not in so many words. It's like, this is who you are. It's brilliant.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of probably unanimously one of our favorite moments in Justice League is the whole bit with Batman and Flash. Just save one person. You'll know what to do after that.
Oh, yeah. It's great. So we have some great. I love the sparing Tiki. I love this hallway. I love this. So basically, he's taking out the lights. He's taking out a few guys, and he saved Alfred. So now the room's a little more empty. Things are a little more tenable, and they're looking for who is this masked guy just taking us out? Why the lights go out? So they have a henchman in the hallway, kind of grumbling. Very classic Arkham game almost. And I love this hallway. It's dark with a very few the only light source in this hallway are these kind
of like a Marvel Netflix hallway.
Yes, and it's this one light source in the middle of a circular light source, and the rest of it's dark, so it's perfect for Batman. So it's this great sparing lighting as Proto Batman takes down the gunman. He takes down the gunman. Oh my god, dude! I was losing it during this scene. I love this scene. So this is my favorite. I love all the Proto Batman stuff in this because, of course, reminds me of my love and my joy.
But this is the Proto Batman and Gordon dynamic right here.
Yes, and take it. This is so year one. I was losing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I've been waiting for this scene for 4 seasons, darn it.
And Dragon, it's here. At this point, I can pretty much say that Bruce Wayne is. Basically, all we need is the Bat gimmick, Dragon. That's all we need. We need the Bat moniker, and then we're set.
I'm betting you a blast from the Scarecrow at the end of this season, because we know you'll see anyway. A blast from the Scarecrow at the end of this season could give him another vision of bats, and then that's where it could click for him, and that's where I want to end the season. He knows we don't see him put on the bats, but we know it's coming in the last season or the 5th season, whatever they're gonna do with it. So, very year one style, so year one, Jim. It's year one and also 0 year where they basically kind of redid year one. And again, another Scott Snyder connection, third one for the evening. Gotham, folks. So, Jim, very year one style. Basically, Bruce has taken out this henchman. He's taking out a gunman. He's holding the gun, taking him out, confiscating the gun. And Jim from across the room, he enters and he sees a masked man dressed exactly like the henchman. So again, how is he supposed to know? He shoots. He shoots a very green. He's very green. He's the first time he's really kind of done this spur of the moment like this.
Mm-hmm.
Shoots him in the chest, and again, most likely it's either due to the non-lethal rounds or because of the bulletproof vest, whichever one. Probably both. Brucey was taken as no wait. I love we can have as a green Proto Batman. He's not there yet. He could take these hits,
Yeah.
He took the hit, and Jim's kind of piecing it together. Wait a minute, that guy seemed a little kind of cowardly at the end. What's going on? Did I recognize that voice? And it comes to and he
Wayne?
So basically he gets up and he runs out of the room, and again, I love the thing, Tiki, that Jim, he chases him because he thinks it might be Bruce. Because again, he saw Bruce, but Bruce was leaving. So again, we're in that great Jim Gordon Batman area of he could suspect he's Batman, but there's some breadcrumbs there.
And Dragon, enough the first proper bat exit from a rooftop.
Again, there's enough that he might not know in this moment where he runs off, disappears, and he goes to the rooftop of all places. We're getting there.
Yep.
Goes to the rooftop and he's gone, and it's also very much like Batman Begins too. Again, all circling back to year one, folks. Beautiful. Yes. Really, finally.
Really good. All right.
Yes. Okay.
So meanwhile, back at Ivy's pad, Selena she gives a mom in the middle of the night, hey, so have you been drinking tonight? Turning on the light, waiting for her daughter to come home. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. So yes, Ivy's confronted by Selena about her murder streak of late, which Selena doesn't approve of. Catwoman's always, she's a thief before she's a killer. And we see the last, just as kind of streamline the scene a little bit. Basically, they two kind of get into a scuffle. They're not really agreeing with each other's message. This is the other big reunion. It is an unhappy reunion, most definitely. These two kind of come together. Again, they've been growing apart this season, especially Ivy's she's kind of lost her mind as it's gone. She's gone from she's gone from plant nut
She's
to
lost her
kind of
mind and she's lost an actress. So what are you gonna do?
technically two actresses if you want to look at the whole thing.
Yep.
So again, the new actress is fine though. So let's give credit what credit's due. She's fine.
She's fine. I just, at this point, I can't buy her as the same character that Ivy Pepper in season 1 was.
You're right about that. Anyway, so there's basically a last vial of Lazarus water that she got from the big Enterprise vial, and she needs it to continue her plant crusade. And then basically gets into a fight with Selena. Selena gets the vial, and it's like, I love this. I love that Selena's not a hero, and basically Selena's not a hero. Ivy's calling her out on that and saying, Ivy is more prepared to kill her now. No, I'm not saving you this time. I'm gonna one scratch it could kill you. And Selena destroys the vial, and now they're at this great stalemate. I love this great stalemate they reach. It's like a kind of the beauty of this whole reunion between these two, where Ivy's about to scratch Selena and kill her, but then she says, "Hey, Ivy, look down," and see Selena has her butterfly knife at the ready to impale her.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of reach kind of a not an amends, but like an armistice, like a truce of okay, you and I, if I see you again.
I think we're past words, basically.
Exactly. All right, Sophia and Lee.
Okay. Oh God. So first of all, I love just the cadence of Sophia, where it's like, she's being patted down. She's like, let's see. I get the feeling this isn't going to be a friendly conversation. I don't know if it's just me. Or I'm sorry, I think the exact line is, I almost think this isn't going to be a friendly conversation.
Yeah. So Lee tries to bargain with Jim.
Uh-huh.
But, bargain with the information on Jim. Just trying to use him as a bargaining chip. And they basically say, look, we have a better way to bring
it. It's like, look, you and I, we both hate Jim Gordon. We both have dirt on Jim Gordon.
Yeah. And you think Sophia's gonna you have nothing you can use on Jim. I have stuff you can use on Jim. And of course, just in a moment, I don't want to be labeled a cruel man, but it's again, I love Miranda Baccarin very dearly. I do. Parenthetically, I like her, I really do.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to say anything bad before Miranda Baccarin. I'm not a monster, but. Season 3 I think this honestly feels like kind of cathartic for season 3. What we did with Lee, I will say that once. You're basically Sophia. She kind of hey, you're trying to bargain with Jim Gordon, all his bad stuff back in the episode. She kills all Lee's men, and then one of our favorites again. Not only do we get the Underdwellers kind of vaguely referenced in here, we get we get the forgotten reference in our Boss Biggs-esque character, Samson, returning.
Oh no!
Remember the guy? It's Samson, the same guy.
Yeah, I didn't even ever think to compare Samson to Boss Biggs, but you're right.
Well, no, you had the idea in the first place.
Oh, you're right. But Boss Biggs, Dragon, I mean, come on. I mean, forget about the Joker, forget about the Riddler, forget about Penguin. Boss Biggs is the greatest villain in the history of Batman.
Now all we need is Nostromos.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no, please, not Nostromos.
Yes, please, dear God,
no, I do not sign off on Nostromos.
It's like I will defend Boss Biggs over Nostromos any day.
Oh, I will too. Like non-sarcastically.
Likewise. So Samson returns to run the Narrows, who reveal, Sophia's holding all the cards here, and she's brought Samson back, implying that, Lee, I'm not having her run the place, because she could, I believe, legitimately, Sophia knows that Lee could usurp her and actually get the people of the Narrows to root behind her, which would prove bad for business. I think that's why underlying reason, I think that's why she's doing this. And then she has that cruel, sadistic line, because we're family, I'm only going to do one hand. Basically, she crushes.
This is horrific, Dragon.
And again, this I would say is cathartic for the bad Lee stuff I got in season 3. But for this one,
I don't know. I still feel bad for her. It's seriously a painfully shot moment.
I feel bad now that we love Lee again this season.
Yeah,
I feel really bad. I'm just saying, the only way
it really hurts because it's like rubbing salt in the wound of having her empire taken out from under her. And Lee, like you said, Dragon, she could have been a really good, effective leader that actually brought some stability to the Narrows.
And that's the underlying reason she did all this, not because the whole Jim Gordon of it all. Well, I'm sorry, it is twofold. I mean, Jim Gordon is a factor in this, but in that Sophia's looking for other ways to hurt Jim Gordon. Lee would be one of those things. So that's the underlying reason she's doing this. But the practical reason, which Sophia is all about practical before the personal, practical reason is, hey, I gotta. She could lead the Narrows, and I can't have that. And I need a symbol that she no longer has control, and that her power's been usurped. I'm gonna have to hurt her in some way. And how do you hurt a healer? Hurt the hand. But again, the break that she did cut her was, I'm only gonna hurt one of your hands.
Hurt the hand, but the hand will always grow back, Colleen.
Makes no sense, but it's funny. Anyway, so yes, basically she punishes her for season 3 by bashing one of her hands. And again, poor Leslie Tompkins.
Yeah.
So basically the message is being sent to Lee's followers in the Narrows. Like, okay, God bleeds. Your healer has one hand. See how well she does at her job. Essentially, that's what's so, Jim. So we cut to the next scene. Lee is in tremendous pain. Poor Lee. Jim hears about what happened to Lee. Goes to the hospital and says, like the orderly's asking, "Hey, you know who did this?" He says, "I know who did this." Basically implying that he knows it was Sophia, and Sophia's making good on her promise to hurt Jim in other ways. So he kind of puts it all together there. Meanwhile,
so Nigma, he wants to volunteer himself into Arkham.
Which is a rarity in Arkham. You have people volunteer.
I am. You do know who I am, right? I mean, criminally insane. That pretty much covers it.
Yeah. Again, such a rarity. Especially, rarely do you ever have a work. First of all, you rarely have a working form of Arkham. In this case, this plays literally like it's kind of a. It's like it's almost like the version in Gotham by Gaslight, the Victorian Arkham, where it's all horrible. It's like basically it's a slightly more controlled version of that. That's what
like slightly more controlled, yeah.
Slightly. I mean, people were literally tearing people in half. In this case, it's like, well, at least they're in their cells and behind cages.
Right.
That's the only. It's not a big old circle where you can tear people in half. Anyway, so yeah, it's such a rarity, and anyway, so Nigma, he signed the paperwork, and I love the tension on this. It's like, if he signs his name, he's committed. And again, last time, big Bates Motel moment here, huge, where Nigma, as he's about to sign himself and voluntarily commit himself, a figure enters from behind as the Riddler mocks Nigma, saying, "What has two eyes but cannot see?"
Two needles, two halves of Mississippi. What?
The Penguin enters, and the Penguin says, "Oh, good, you got my letter." And he realizes the answer to the riddle is, "You, Ed."
I love how the Penguin's like, "I'm not talking to you, Ed. I'm talking to him."
This scene, Robin Lord Taylor is so. These two guys back acting off of each other is so strong, it's so great, and the desperation, the crazed look in the Penguin's eye, and again, this is, I think. If you had to pick one reunion being like the big reunion episode, would you pick this or would you pick Jim and Bullock? Like, which reunion, if you had to pick one, would be the big reunion?
I mean, honestly, I'd pick. I'd honestly pick Bruce and Alfred, to tell you the truth.
I would too. I will say this, I agree with you there. I would say this would be the second biggest.
I would say this would be the runner-up. Yeah.
Again, this is a huge reunion. Again, a reunion layered within the reunion.
Not to speak lightly of Jim and Bullock either.
Certainly. But again, I love the underlying reunion here too. It's not just Penguin and Nigma reuniting. It's the Riddler and Nigma, reuniting, and then by proxy, Riddler and Penguin reuniting. It's all reunion palooza going on here. And takes with the majesty of what Robin Lord Taylor does in this scene. What does he say to him?
So he's basically saying, shoot, hold on, sorry, let me get to my notes. I have it. I know I have it. I just need to find it. Shoot, sorry.
Well, just to prime it. So Penguin, he knows the Riddler's in control with that whole "I'm not talking to you, Ed," and
we have the note, and it's revealed that the first word of every sentence is "Please bring Ed to Arkham so I can set him free."
And Tiki,
that's the reveal. What has two eyes but cannot see? Enigma.
That's who.
I love Penguin. He's going off like Andy Serkis in Black Panther. He's like, he read my letter. He read my letter.
That's what I'm saying. I
love rain.
Oh God. Yes, I'm sorry. But oh my god, man, I love Tiki. This is such a great plan that he sends him this letter that he knows the Riddler side of himself will decipher, and he knows. And again, like the whole come to Arkham so I can free him, and he basically saying, hey. He's working with the Riddler behind Nigma's back. How crazy is that? And how it's like something you can only do in
Okay,
some.
and I'm sorry, Drag. This is what I was kind of getting to here.
Yeah, yeah.
The big buildup is Ed. I see him. I see the other you. I see the one whose name I wouldn't speak, but because you've earned it, Ed, and because I need him, I need you, Riddler.
I love how Nigma's begging and pleading with him right before he says the name.
Shall we get to work?
Oh my god, it's so.
And then they have a maniacal laugh in unison, and it's all set up beautifully.
And that scene is. And Tiki, tell me how that scene isn't amazing. My god, it's just like these two.
Oh, that's great. And I especially love how, like you said, Dragon, this episode does a good job of like paying off things that were set up in earlier seasons.
Again, like that sense of dread you get when the Riddler is back, and the fact that we had that whole thing of the Penguin like refusing to say that ridiculous name in his own his own thing, like I'll never call you that.
Uh-huh.
And now it's like again Penguin after going through kind of his own odyssey of sorts, his own like that. Not just the literary odyssey after the kind of this recent Arkham like Jerome odyssey of like I'm driven to the brink and I see like a drowned man. I've seen air and it's like yes, my survival. So again from that reunion to another beautiful little scene here, and here's some poetic storytelling here. I love that the truth between in all literature and all things of this character. Batman and Alfred, Bruce Wayne and Alfred Pennyworth will always be in each other's lives because their relationship works as such. Alfred will always be there to patch up Bruce Wayne, no matter how beaten, no matter how broken he is. He will always be there to patch him up. And this scene shows that where Bruce has like a cut on his wrist or something, and Alfred's bandaging him up as they're talking here. And we've seen this scene a couple times, like in the past, like after the Jerome fight, the whole like, no killing vows during a scene like this, where he patches them up and they're having like an intimate conversation. Like that's what Batman and Alfred are all about, having these big conversations while he's patching up. And you know this from recent experience, Tiki. Those are some of the most pivotal character scenes between Bruce and Alfred.
Oh, sure, of course.
So take us through some of this.
Let me see. So
Fire escape.
Yeah. So Alfred basically says, Bruce says he wants to help people, Alfred, and if that means accepting every part of myself, then, and if that means that it could be my end, then so be it. And then Alfred's just like, well, it's what your parents would have wanted, and your parents would have been really proud of you. I'm proud of you.
One could say.
I knew this was something. He's proud of my boy, Master B. I'm proud of my boy. All right.
Okay, but also real quick, because there's a great reference to this, and I like that it kind of brings on this conversation. He's asking about like, how did you escape that? How did you pull that? He's asking how did he pull the bat exit, and basically jumped on a fire escape. Which, by the way, is a Batman Begins reference because that's what he did. He jumped on the fire escape. Yes. That's clever, and also he's asking the big question that brings all this about, like why he's asking why didn't you just tell Jim Gordon? And I love that Bruce has the foresight in this moment. You're right, Tiki. In that moment, he's on the Batman path. And there's no going back. Where he realizes, that was his big moment where I could have, revealed myself. And then Bruce, from that point onward, he couldn't just be a mass vigilante because then, Jim would know exactly who he is and he'd shut him down. In this case, like, hey, if I keep my anonymity, I can. I want to help people, and I can. He was going to delve and he's going to own his own darkness in that regard. And he can't help people if law enforcement knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So how takes the beautiful end of the scene, Tiki.
So Bruce is like, Alfred, do you want me to call you a cab to get you back into the city? And Alfred simply is like, I'm not going anywhere, Master Bruce. I'm home.
Oh, jeez, that's
just very, very simple, very elegantly written. Like, all right, these two guys are back in business.
It's not like saying like I forgive you. It's not saying anything like that. It's just saying I'm home.
Yeah. Okay.
Scene.
So Bullock is back at the GCPD. He congratulates Jim. He's saying there's a reason why you're the captain and I'm a 50-year-old screw up pouring shots to barflies. And then, oh god, Gordon. I love Ben McKenzie's cadence here. I love how broken up he is about it, and how ashamed he is about it. He's like, yeah, there's a reason, Harvey, but it's not the reason you think. So he's saying he screwed up bad. And he's just coming clean about it. Sophia hired the pig to cover it up. I'm sorry, Sophia hired the pig. He knew about it. He covered it up. But now he's going to take her down.
Oh, you know, how defiantly he says, I'm going to, he's just sick and tired of it all. And he's just like, all of this, I'm going to take her down.
Yep.
It's great.
All right, and that's it, folks. And Dragon, so we're going to be caught up on Wednesday, right? Because Wednesday we're going to be doing the next episode, so we can actually freaking do speculation next Wednesday with episode 15.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know. All right, so final thoughts on your end, Dragon?
Final thoughts, again, as I said before, I love the reunion theme of this. Again, there's that one bump in the road with, like, it's like a pebble in the road, more like, you know, it's like, with Leah, it kind of turns me off. It doesn't kill the episode by any stretch of the imagination. We have some great payoffs all throughout this episode. It really holds up in the rewatch. I adore the proto Batman stuff in this episode. Our big year one moment, that's great. Alfred and Bruce at the heart of this, the big kind of spectacle of our villains, and kind of the reunion going on between all the stuff we do with the Riddler and the big Riddler Penguin payoff. That's great, and it feels earned. It doesn't feel like they dragged it on. Like, I mean, you got to binge the season to see really how that if that still holds true. But I mean, in the episode, it gives the effect that, oh my god, this is a huge moment, and it was a long time coming. It feels like a reunion. You have a reunion paid off, and you have like a reunion between Bruce and Alfred. Like, oh, thank goodness. You got a reunion between Bullock and Gordon, where it's like, you know what, we're on working terms, but as we'll see, things aren't we're not in the we're not in the land of milk and honey quite yet. But I really love this episode, though. I really do. Again, literally one line I don't like about Lee in this episode. There's nothing to take away from this episode. It's really good. I don't know. It's not my favorite this season, but if I had to look at this season, probably be in the top 5 or like top 10. Probably top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not quite up to the standards of, like, some of the big high points, but it definitely delivers some of the, it really holds up thematically. I think that's the big thing about this episode. It holds up thematically really well. I agree with you, Dragon. It's certainly good on a rewatch, especially because the title just says it all. It's just all about all these reunions, all about setting things into place, moving forward. Having said that, Dragon, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I do think this show would benefit from an end date if a thorough end date was set in place. Like, for example, if they said that season 5 would be the last season, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Maybe season 6 at the absolute latest.
I'm with you there.
Because I do think that narratively, we're at a point where we need to start wrapping things up. We're at a point where it's going to quickly become the Batman show instead of the Jim Gordon show. And once we reach that level, I feel like we need to kind of like tie some bookends together if we really want a satisfying narrative all the way through this thing. So I think the show could be in danger of going on a little bit longer than it needs to. But with that in mind, like I said, if they set an end date towards it, then I'll be much more satisfied with it. I'm still worried about Ivy becoming a central focus, but of course I haven't seen episode 15 yet, so we'll have to see how that goes.
I can't tell you. I don't want to give anything away.
Fair enough. But yeah, other than that, just a very solid episode. Can't really complain.
Right. So remember, kids, however dark and scary the world may be right now, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time, when we go exploring Gotham yet again.
Proud of my boy.
But Dragon, how can the world be dark and scary when Ivy's in it?
Ivy.
Isn't Ivy awesome?